Hey guys, it's Rich with your Monday Spot in Pagan Perspectives. This week we're talking about Books of Shadows. And I also want to give a quick shout out. I went out to the Renaissance Fair yesterday, the New Jersey Renaissance Fair, and I met one of our Pagan Perspective fans, and it was kind of odd. She looked at me, she says, I want to say you look like somebody I know from YouTube on the Pagan Perspective collab channel. You kind of look like the Monday host. And I told her, I said, that's because I am. And it was awesome meeting somebody that, you know, watches the channel and this and that. And it was kind of weird because I usually do these videos and I never expect to meet anybody that actually watches them. So it was awesome meeting you. I didn't get your name, and we took a picture together. And if you have it, please message me on my personal channel, and I'll give you my phone number so you can text it to me, because that was a really awesome experience. So I just wanted to share that with everybody. And now on to the topic of this week, which I already said was Books of Shadows. And we have a whole slew of questions here. First off, I do want to show, this is what my new Book of Shadows is. You know, and it's barely filled out at all. So I do have a lot of, you know, papers and everything in here of things that I do want to put in there, but I haven't gotten to actually write it out because I like to be real nice and neat and all that other good stuff. So this is my Book of Shadows as of currently, like right now. This is what my main Book of Shadows is. So yes, it does not have to be an actual physical book. It can be on your computer, which is going into the first question. Do you think it's better to write the Book of Shadows by hand or on the computer, and why? This all depends on the person. For me, it's easier to write everything out, but whenever you write everything out, you have that whole, oh, should it go here, or should it go in the, you know, further back in the Book of Shadows, or should it be towards the front, middle, who knows, you know? And I always get that, you know, and that's why I have a lot of these papers just sitting in here, like, you know, this might be where I want to put this, I'm not sure, so let's think about that and not commit yet. So that's what I do on that. Now, if I did it on the computer, which is also a good idea, especially if you're really computer savvy and you like to be on the computer a lot. One little thing, if you have one of these nifty little devices, the iPad, you know, this is my new iPad mini. If you have one of those nifty devices, it's awesome because you can use it just like a book, and you can just leaf through the pages and find things fairly easily. Me, however, I do like the feel of an actual book. So maybe eventually I'll put it on my iPad, but as of right now, probably not. That's a lot of typing. So if you are computer savvy and you like working on the computer a lot more, you can print out your stuff, that's fine. For me, it's a lot more personable to write, you know, into a Book of Shadows, your intention and all that, and it's a lot better than the cut and paste. And then you get a whole bunch of information that you really don't need, a whole bunch of extra fluff that, you know, some authors out there or some people that put on blogs or whatnot, they put them on there just to take up a little extra room to meet their quota. So you can take out all the fluff and edit everything down into what you absolutely need to know. So that's one good thing about having an actual book. Is it kind of a witch's diary or part of a long tradition of grimoires? Okay, and I'm also going to combine that with another one. Is it a creative individual project of every single witch or coven? Okay, from what I know, or what I've read, and I'm not in an actual traditional coven. As I've said before, I was in a like a techno-pagan coven for Christian witches, or Christo-pagans. And they had their group Book of Shadows, but everybody else would keep their own Book of Shadows on top of that. So the coven or the group Book of Shadows would be handed down, throughout the ages, from priestess or priest to the next priestess or priest. But you were always encouraged to make your own individual Book of Shadows that was personalized to you and how you do things. So, it is a witch's diary, and it can't, if you're talking in the coven sense, it is like a grimoire that comes down throughout the ages, especially if you have a long tradition with that coven, or that coven has a long tradition in general. Is it necessary or recommended to write your own Book of Shadows? And what should be in there? I would suggest writing your own Book of Shadows only because it's what you put in there. Everybody's a little bit different. Like a spell that I do to draw money, or to help with relaxation or meditation or something like that, or even in any certain circumstances, one type of spell or ritual might help me a lot more than it would help the next person that comes along. So, it being individual and written specifically for you would be a lot more beneficial than taking somebody else's stuff and putting it all in there and always following it verbatim. So, yes, I do recommend to write your own Book of Shadows. What should be in there? Whatever you like. I know some people keep a dream diary on top of their Book of Shadows and all that other stuff. They keep their dream diary. They'll keep a ritual diary, and then they'll keep their Book of Shadows, which will contain, spells, concordances, general information. So anything like that, if you ever want to reference to anything in your own practice, this should be one of the books that you go to before any of your other reference books. If you have dealt with it in the past and you have done a spell or ritual on it, you should put it in your Book of Shadows. If at very least that you can follow up and say, hey, I did this ritual on this day, and looking at the events that transpired after that, it really ended up working. So, what do you think of having more than one Book of Shadows per person? I know a friend of mine, she's been practicing for, probably a good 30, 40 years. And she has multiple books of shadows. And she has them all written in Theban. They're all personalized to her. They're all her own ritual diaries, concordances, spells that she's done, everything. So they are all personalized to her, and she has like a whole library of them. So if you do if you do run out of space in one, like whenever I get to this very last page right here, or somewhere around here, whenever I get to this page, yeah, I'm going to start another one. This is not going to be the be-all, end-all, unless I absolutely contain everything in there, which is not possible at all. So, yeah, there will definitely be more than one Book of Shadows for me. I also keep, personally, I keep a separate, mini book of spells that either I would like to try out, or might be beneficial, or that I might want to tweak or something like that. And if they work, then they'll make the cut to go into here. So having multiple ones like that can be beneficial to you. You have one that's maybe not in such a nice, leather bound. Well, this isn't really leather bound because it has the what you call it right here. I don't know if you can see that, yeah. But yeah, the outside is like a leather type. So but it's all bound and everything. If you don't want to waste, a page in here by putting a spell in there that didn't necessarily work for you, go get a regular notepad or something like that and write in there. And then if you would like to transfer it to something that looks a lot nicer, then transfer it later. But certainly don't just, write everything out that you ever wanted to know, or that everything that you want to try, and then think that, oh, all of these will always work for me. Because they don't always work for each individual person. So, that's about it. I rambled on way long enough. Again, a shout out to whoever it is that I met that I did not get her name. She was awesome. She was very nice to me, and I can't believe I actually met a fan of Pagan Perspective in Jersey, especially at a Renaissance fair. Who knew witches hung out at Renaissance fairs? Duh. Anyway, I guess I'll talk to you all next week, and until the next time, may you have a great day and a better tomorrow. Bye-bye.